cloud. Okay, let's get to sector spotlight. We're going to go to the cloud. Now, Scott, I wanted to bring up the cloud because, Apple's making this big push into the consumer cloud space, but the stock isn't really getting a lot of juice from it. So I wanted to look at the companies that actually do the cloud, make the technology, to see if that's a better way to play it.
That makes a lot of sense. And if Apple's pushing to the cloud, that means that this is the next generation and this is the next spot to be in tech. So when we finally get through this downdraft, these stocks could be the place for strength and the place to go, but we have to get to that point.
And talking about one of the leaders, you have to look at VMware. Despite a very weak day by the market on Tuesday, VMware was up, closed up 1%.
Yeah, it's hanging out. It's above that gap. It's above some moving averages. If you take a look here, it's something just to watch. Now is the time to create that watch list of stocks you might want to own during a market correction. And yes, did it have that false breakout? Market wasn't ready to go. Is it above a lot of these moving averages and still above this gap? Yes. So VMW is one of those stocks that if you want to be in something, you could be in a little bit, but then when the market gets better, this could be one of the leading stocks in a leading group.
Now, Salesforce.com is one of the most popular ones, but just hasn't been holding up really well.
That's because, like you said, it's very juicy. They have extended growth, and the PE is really high. So during market corrections, people get a little scared, so they sell some of the winners. It, too, is holding up okay. I think that this range that we've been in for the past 6-7 months is big. Institutions are still buying it. Micro level, can it fill this gap? Can it get down to 135? Yes, but this stock is still in a strong group, and it still has a big future ahead of it.
What about Citrix Systems? Had a downgrade yesterday, but still ended only slightly lower. I was looking at a Standard & Poor's survey that said the majority of ratings are actually hold. So that to me seems like a little bit uncertain as to where we're really going with the stock.
It's more of a laggard in the group. It's in the bottom end of the range. I don't love it. I think if you're going to be in this group, you got to be with the leaders, and right now that still is VMW and CRM.
And we have to go to F5 because it had a big day yesterday, closed up over 4.5%, but it has some major competition. It competes directly with like a Cisco. So how would you think about this stock?
Let's take a look, because this was a leader, a few months back, and it is one of the actually laggards right now at the bottom end of this area, coming into some resistance. Showed some strength. If it gets above 115 and goes, you can get a trade, but again, we need a better environment for these stocks to have sustainability. So this also should be on your watch list for when we get back in some type of uptrend or a more healthy environment.
All right, looking for more healthy environment, can we just touch on Skyworks Solutions? Stock was up almost 8% yesterday after an analyst day where it reaffirmed its quarterly guidance, confident in its outlook for above market growth. Lots of catalysts there, but I mean, same deal?
Same deal. Write it down, but don't push the buttons. Just keep it on that list as potential.
All right, fair enough. Now, totally switching gears, I spoke to Dan Dicker, who's oil expert and senior contributor for The Street yesterday, about some recent bullish calls on oil demand and oil prices from Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, the EIA. And this is despite the rumors that OPEC is actually going to announce an increase in production today. So I wanted to find out what he thought was the best sector and stocks in the energy sector. So